Does the Genesis account of Adam and Eve leave you with more questions than answers? What if I told you that is because the tale of the garden is not about the first humans at all? Hi, I'm Ryan, and my last video on TikTok got me banned at over 100,000 followers, so let's hope that my haters don't find me so you can learn the truth of the garden. It's not about two people who disobeyed Yahweh. In fact, the tale is about Yahweh's divorce from his wife, Asherah. Before we get into the iconography and symbolism behind the Garden of Eden, let's address sin. The concept of sin taught to us from the Christian perspective is the result of Adam and Eve choosing to disobey God. What if by taking this sordid tale literally, we miss the plot by overlooking the imagery and symbolism behind them? In Christian theology, Adam and Eve's transgression creates an inherited original sin. But to ancient Israelites, Adam and Eve's actions weren't the cause of sin, but a natural inclination of chaos we had been created with. God's commandments were given to bring balance to the primordial chaos with which humans were inadvertently inclined. Now that I've covered the polarizing view of the two beliefs, we can dive into the meat of the narrative. In the ancient world, serpents represent divine energy, divination, healing, fertility, regeneration. In many images of Asherah, she is side by side with snakes. Nahas means serpent and connotes divination. The verb nahas means observing signs. Serpents and their slough are still used in fertility rites to this very day. They can also depict an unrestrained primordial chaos. Erect means the divine is flowing through it, as in the garden. The serpent is wise, erect, and a conduit of truth. Here is some imagery of snakes throughout the Fertile Crescent. When the snake is flattened, it denotes evil, which is why in Genesis, Yahweh crushes the snake and makes it crawl as its punishment. Remember that in Genesis, there is no reference to Satan. He was never in this story until the Christians put him there. The tree of life is more than the epitome of fertility. Trees are considered an intermediary between the worlds, with the roots reaching down into the underworld and the branches abounding into the heavens. Likewise, Asherah was known as an intermediary between the gods and humans. Her Ugaritic name, Atherat, means sanctuary or grove, where she was worshipped. Even the garden motif represented the goddess. The great goddess is synonymous with tree symbolism, much like these necklaces show her divinity transcending language and time. Eve is also a representation of the goddess. Her name means mother of life in Hebrew, Hawa, mother of all living. Asherah and her counterparts, like Tanit, share epithets of mother of all living, and even serpent lady. And if you have a little wordplay with the meaning of Eve's name, you can see that it's very similar to the word snake. Now that we've looked deeper into this puzzle and try to assemble it with some wisdom, the goddess begins to scream at us from the garden. The trees, the garden, Eve, snakes, all converged to give the story behind the story. Those who understood the symbols knew the message. The great goddess was being divorced from her powers and her husband, kicked from her very own sanctuary. Knowledge of her would be hidden. Along with the degradation of her symbols within this tale would surely keep anyone from seeking the truth. I can get more into the reasons for all of this happening and where else we can find the goddess in the scriptures, but for now,